Now this is a big game. It's a very, very, very big game for so many different reasons. But the main reason is it's all about the money, money, money. There's a lot of soldi on the line. Look at me learning Italian. There's a lot of masari in Arabic. There's a lot of money on the line. The winner secures £11 million by making it through to the next round. And Juventus, they need the money. But on top of everything, they need to go through because that's the demands, that's the standards, that's the expectations of Juventus. Thiago Motta needs to live up and step up to the plate. But this is going to be a massive game. Now let's break it down tactically. These two teams encountered one another on the 17th of September, and I feel like that was during a period where it was Thiago Motta's honeymoon period, where everything was going well. We all don't forget the Kenan Yildiz goal, picking up the ball, cutting inside, smashing it into the top corner, got me here screaming. But a lot has changed since then. Ever since the 17th of September, PSV have played 27 games and they've won 18. Juventus have played 29 and won 11. Now a lot has changed. There's more and more pressure on these managers, but this is a must-win game for Juventus. Now let's just familiarise ourselves with Peter Bosz's PSV team. Now in build-up, they set up in a 4-3-3. Why? It gives them that extra defensive security. It gives them more options when playing out of the back because they've constantly got the full-backs in close proximity to bounce the ball off. They've got a solid four. If they lose the ball in build-up, they've got a solid four defenders in position to defend. Now, as soon as PSV get the ball in the opposition half, they transition into a 2-3-5. What tends to happen is the two centre-halves remain in their first phase. The three central midfielders, the wingers, they tuck inside. They play closer to the number 9, and the flanks are occupied by the fullbacks. Now you can clearly see when it comes to PSV, there is a heavy focus on pushing a lot of bodies forward, maintaining width in order to stretch out the opposition. Now, what do they do in the final third? That's made them probably the best team in the Netherlands. They're joint top. They score a shit ton of goals. I think they're on 69 goals. They average about over 65% off the ball. They are the most dominant force in the Netherlands. What do they do in the final third? That the opposition just can't find a way to nullify and stop. A lot of their focus is on the wings. We're talking overlaps, we're talking underlaps. There's a lot of numerical advantages in their favour on the flanks. Their primary purpose of playing football is getting the ball out wide, forcing the opposition out wide, and then capitalising on the space they leave in the centre. There's a reason why this PSV team, they score a lot of goals from crosses. And why do they do that? Because when the ball goes out wide, the midfielders all join into the attack, and you can see, look at how many bodies they push forward. There you know, when the cross comes in, we've got 5-6 players attacking the opposition box. So when it comes to Juventus, I feel like there's going to be a heavy focus on them trying to stop this PSV team out wide, not allowing any player to overlap or underlap without being marked, stopping those nice intricate passes in those tight areas. I feel like the players are going to have to be concentrated. They're going to have to track their runners. Now, the one thing that's very common when it comes to Juventus that we've seen this season is they concede a lot of goals. At the back post, the cross comes in and the player is completely unmarked. Now, you're coming up against a team that likes to put crosses into the box, that likes to push a lot of bodies forward. The concentration levels from these Juventus players is going to have to be top. And every single player is going to have to know who's their man, and on top of everything, how to stop them. Win your duels in your defensive box. Now, off the ball, another thing that makes Peter Bosz's PSV team so dominant and so assertive is the way they press. No team in the Netherlands secures possession in the opposition half more than PSV. They're energetic, they're full of intensity, they're aggressive. They go man to man. And I feel like man to man is a type of pressing which so many teams struggle against. And when I do look at Juventus, and I've seen how they fared against Stuttgart, because Stuttgart also go man to man, Juventus struggled. They struggled playing out of the back. They struggled retaining the ball in their own half and trying to force the opposition in. They really struggled in that congested area. And when you come up against a team that presses at high intensity, you need to know what you're going to do on the ball before you even get it. And I feel like this man-to-man approach in a game where there's a lot at stake. Like 17th of September, win, lose or draw, you still got a chance of making it through. Just like PSV. They lost, but they still made it through. This game is going to be different. There's a lot on the line. There's only going to be one winner and one loser. One team progresses, the other one goes home. Juventus are going to have to find a way around playing out of this PSV press, even if it means they deploy a similar tactic to what they done against Atalanta Gasperini this year, where they invite them, they allow them to press them, but they make sure their attacking players are on the halfway line. So as soon as PSV press, a ball over the top. You take out the entire opposition press by a ball over the top. But now you're asking the attacking players to win their duel, to get onto the ball, to hold up the ball in order for Juventus' entire team to push higher up the field. There's a lot of ways around the man-to-man press. There's a lot of ways to stop the opposition press. But Juventus, technically, physically, mentally, are going to have to be top-notch. Now, when looking at Juventus, they set up in a 3-2-5. We've all seen it this year. It hasn't been the most consistent, but I feel like rotation, injuries, players' form dropping off has forced Motta to tweak things at time. And as of late, we've been seeing Locatelli drop deep in between Gatti and Kalulu to help the team progress the ball. But throughout the season, the theme has always been a 3-2-5 with Thuram and Locatelli anchoring the midfield. Now, where this can help Juventus because you're coming up against the Peter Bosz's team where they play a high line. They like to push their entire team in the opposition half. This is where I look at Juventus in this 3-2-5 and I tell myself, you've got 5 attacking players in attack. Now, it doesn't matter who they are. Coop Miners, Nico Gonzalez, Kenan Yildiz, Dusan Vlahovic, Kolo Muani, Weston McKennie. It doesn't matter who they are. You've got 5 players in the opposition half that are going to deploy a high line. And all 5 of those players have got a form of physicality. Kenan, Nico, Dusan can run in behind. Kolo Muani, we've all seen it. Juventus need to exploit the space that PSV leave in behind, because even when you look at the game that Juventus won 3-1, when you look at the Kenan Yildiz goal, how does it start off? Juventus, they exploit the space out wide. Kenan Yildiz receives the ball. Cambiasso was the game changer. Cambiasso overlapping Kenan forced the fullback to track his run, which then left the space for Kenan Yildiz to cut inside, wrap his foot. It's all about teamwork. It's all about making the smart runs. But once again, that goal came from Juventus targeting the flanks that were left unmarked, unoccupied, and they created an opportunity for themselves. When you look at the Weston McKennie goal, it also came from Juventus. Thuram switch and play out wide to Nico Gonzalez. There's a bit of luck because Dusan Vlahovic scuffs his shot. Forced to Weston McKennie, he puts it into the back of the net. When a team pushes their entire team higher up the field, and like I mentioned earlier on in the video, when they get into the opposition half, their fullbacks become their wingers, which means their fullbacks are very high up the field. No full, like, come on guys, they're not Spider-Man, they're not Iron Man, they're not going to get back in time within a matter of seconds. When you catch them higher up the field, launch the ball into the channels, that's where the space is. That is the space to attack. And I'm looking at it and I'm telling myself, whoever plays out wide, whether it's Mbangula, whether it's Kenan Yildiz, whether it's Nico Gonzalez, whether it's Conceição, you're going to get time, you're going to get space, capitalize, and that's where you decide the game. That is where the game will be won and lost. Out wide, from Juventus' perspective, offensively. Now, from Juventus' perspective, defensively, I feel like the game will be won and lost on how well they can play out of the back, because PSV are going to push the entire teams forward. PSV are going to cramp out that midfield. So you're now going to require more than just Locatelli to be able to progress play. The whole team is going to have to be tight and secure in those central areas. But it's tough opposition, I will be honest, especially the fact that now there's a lot on the line and PSV are in better form than Juventus going into this game. But I tell myself, the blueprint is there. It's not as if it's a team that you've never ever come up against. No, it's a team that Juventus have come up against and they've won 3-1. The blueprint is there. The way to score goals, the way to control the game, the way to create opportunities. Follow the blueprint of the 17th of September. Of course, with a bit more decisiveness in the final third. And I feel like Juventus will create opportunities and they will put the ball into the back of the net. But at the same time, Juventus now have got more options. I feel like there are more players fit. There's different ways of playing. You can always roll the dice and go with two strikers in attack. Juventus have the options. Juventus have the better players. It's all about exploiting Peter Bosz's PSV's team's weaknesses and capitalizing on them. And I'll be here to review how the game goes. Now, if you're new, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to let me know what you think in the comments. And I'll catch you guys on another one.